And we're live. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Reverend Sherri James. I'm the Senior Minister for Understanding Principles for Better Living Church, or better known as Up Church. And my apologies for starting 5 minutes late. I was telling the people in the green room that Google changed the way that they do their hangouts. And so it changed like how I log in. But I learned that as I was putting tonight together and scrambling, trying to stay and be on time. But we have an exciting lesson tonight. I'm going to share with you 3 very unusual visualization techniques that Hypatia Hasbrouck talks about at the end of her chapter. And I had never heard of them. Maybe there are techniques that you'd heard of, but I had never heard of them. They're new to me. So I'm excited to get started and to share with you what she has. Okay. What are we doing, Google? Oh my gosh, they changed that too. Okay, that's different. Okay, all right, PowerPoint. So we're just going to talk about 3 unusual visualization techniques. I think that most of us are familiar with the visualization of just seeing yourself doing what you want to be doing, seeing yourself having what you want to be having, being who you want to be being. But I want to talk about a different way to use your mind to visualize. And I think that you'll appreciate these techniques, and perhaps they will enhance the visualization that you're already doing. And so we're still talking about visualization as prayer, and these are prayer techniques. Our announcements, we're going to just a couple, and then opening prayer. We're going to talk about why prayer matters. And then visualization precedes manifestation, something that I've talked about before. 3 unusual visualization techniques, and then using your mind to heal your body, and then Q&A. Of course, you can ask questions throughout. I always like questions throughout because it helps guide the discussion. It also helps me know if I've said something that didn't land or needs to be said a little differently. What's your why? Why the Bible Hangout? Why every week? And why free? This Bible Hangout is an effort it began as my personal ministry when I was the assistant minister for Reverend Dellum, and it has extended to become the Bible study or Bible Hangout for Up Church. And it's free because I think that this teaching needs to go around the world and needs to be available to anybody, anywhere. And so I imagine in my own mind that there is some young man or some young woman in Timbuktu, who gets to see the video. Let's say he speaks English and gets to see the video. And these ideas plant a seed. I had an experience this week where I got connected with someone that I actually went to church with in Houston, Texas, which is random. So I don't know if he's watching, but shout out to my new friend. And one of the things that I found remarkable just in thinking on the experience and the randomness of it, or the seeming randomness of it, is that we both grew up in the same home church, and somewhere in that seeds were being planted that blossomed into today, and meaning that we're both New Thought ministers. So you just don't know. And so the Bible Hangout, is important to me that this teaching is out and available and that people have access to it, and which is why it lives on YouTube and anybody can find it and take and partake of it. Of course, the Bible Hangout does cost. And so I do encourage you, if you want to support the Bible Hangout, you can do that right from revsherri.com. You can go right there and you literally just a PayPal button, and it's simple. And any gift you make helps to defray the cost of producing this on a monthly basis. And I thank you in advance for any gift that you decide to make. The way that this series works is that there's a blog, which is published on Thursdays. There is the Bible Hangout, which we're doing right now. And then there's the Mastermind Prayer Group, which we started in late July on Wednesday nights. And that has been such an incredible experience. If you have never been a part of a mastermind, I strongly encourage you to consider being a part of this mastermind. One of the things about many masterminds is that they cost money to be in them. And if you try to join, especially like a business mastermind, it costs money to be there. This is giving you the same information, the same technique, but giving it to you for free. And so this is, again, a service of my personal ministry, but also Up Church, because we want to see every individual on the face of this earth live a happy, healthy, and prosperous life. And the only way that we know to do that is to just hand it to you and say, here, take advantage of this. This is available to you. Our gift, no strings attached. Panorama of Truth. This is coming up, and I encourage you to start setting aside your money now. Go ahead and start making your payments. You can actually do a payment plan with the organization. It is August 9th through the 13th, 2017, at the Hyatt Ziva Rose Hall in Montego Bay, Jamaica, and it is incredible. This was probably the 2015 when we went to Jamaica in the same location, was probably the best POT that we've had in a long time. Certainly since I've been a part of the organization. I think we've had some really amazing panoramas of truth, but this one was just off the chain. I think it was the all-inclusive food. Maybe it was that, when I walked down to the beach and they had the cabana, and it was like a long banquet table of like endless shrimp and crab and all kinds of other delicious seafood. I encourage you to set aside your coins, get started with a payment plan with the organization. You can just reach out to ufbl.org and begin to make your payments. It's worth it. It's nothing I could do will oversell it for you. How's that? Nothing I could say about POT and how great it is could oversell it for you. And so I'm encouraging you to come with me to Jamaica and enjoy this experience. We're going to have some incredible speakers. It's just going to be a dynamic experience. And so it'd be great if you were a part of it and hanging out with me on the beach with me and Jordan. Worshiping in color. I'm getting so excited about Sunday. Reverend Lisa Meggs is our guest speaker. And this is our annual Worshiping in Color celebration. And so we are doing something really cool this year. We're doing a New Thought roll call. And so we will be kind of like, we do the roll call those of you that are in the UFBL, how we do the roll call at POT, the gang's all here, the gang's all here. So like that kind of roll call, but like from Divine Science and Centers for Spiritual Living and Unity and UFBL and Agape. And so it's just going to be so much fun. So if you're in Los Angeles, if you can get to Los Angeles, come hang out with us on Sunday the 30th at 1 o'clock. We would be delighted to have you. It's going to be so much fun. The scripture for this series is Matthew 21:22. Whatever you ask for in prayer, with faith, you will receive. Whatever you ask for in prayer, with faith, you will receive. And so let's just take a moment to just give thanks. This is such a blessed moment that we live in, and we just say thank you, God. There's so many things that we have at our advantage, so many things that you have given us, and we just want to honor you this evening for that. We thank you so much for the Bible Hangout. We thank you for the conversation that's going to be had tonight. And we just thank you for just guiding this discussion. You know what each one of us needs. You know what each person is dealing with. And so I just ask that you just shape this conversation so that each person gets exactly what they need in order to prosper. I know you hear me when I pray. And so I know that this prayer is already answered. And so I simply relax and affirm that it is so. And so it is. And amen. Why prayer matters. This is why prayer matters. Because everything in your experience was first an idea in your mind. Everything in your experience was first an idea in your mind. Now, this may seem like a bold statement to some people. We know that all change happens in the mind. Right? All change happens in the mind. But change only happens by prayer. There are many different forms of prayer, and if you have ever changed your mind, you have done it by virtue of prayer. What do I mean? I don't mean supplicating and begging God. If you have ever changed your mind, you have changed it by prayer. So let me clarify the definition of prayer. Prayer is highly accelerated mind action. It's the most highly accelerated mind action that we know. It is where you lift your mind to the level of God in terms of your thinking, your feeling, your vibration. The reason that we teach you to relax in prayer is because you are beginning to take off the shackles of the physical, the shackles of the flesh, to let your mind rise to its natural, elevated level. Prayer matters because it's the only way you get to change your mind. In the absence of prayer, you are left to show up for life the way that you have always shown up for life. And so consequently, you see people, I'm not saying you're one of them or me, that deal with the same stuff over and over and over and over again. And it's the same problem, just with a new set of pants on and a new set of shoes, but it's the same old stuff. And the way that you change is that you go inside and you work with spirit to change you. Now, do you need to call it that? No, you don't need to call it that. You absolutely don't need to call it that. You can simply just begin to work with and touching the silence within your own being. And the thing is that anything that comes in the presence of God must become more like that. What is erroneous in us cannot stand in the face of God. And so if we will pursue God, everything else in its own due time will fall away. Provided that we don't hold on to it, it will fall away. Just a natural process. So prayer is important because it's how you change your mind. It's how you change the mental movies that are running on the screen of your life. Some people are caught in a mental movie and they can't get out of it. They just keep seeing one disaster after another, after another, after another. And so they may get elevated for a little bit. They may go to church, or they may, watch a nice Les Brown tape, or maybe whatever, right? Something. But they may see something or experience something that lifts them out of wherever they are for like a limited period of time. But they can't stay there. And the reason they can't stay there is because they haven't been changed at depth. So you can be motivated, you can be inspired, but I want you to be changed. I want you to be changed at your core. And the only way to be changed at your core is to work with God. Now, God is a term that I use, but you can call it whatever you want to. You must work with the silence within your own being. And when you do that, you open yourself up to be changed, to be shifted. Andrea says, I'm going to go with you to Jamaica this year. Yay! Yay. And Andrea says, I love it. As we pursue God, that which is not of him will fall away. It will. You don't have to fight what you don't know, what you no longer want in your experience. If you keep pressing toward God, it's like Lot and Lot's wife. Only who could make it out of Sodom and Gomorrah would Lot made it out of Sodom and Gomorrah. The parts of it, stop thinking of them as single units. These are different states of consciousness, right? So there's a part of you that's the Lot state of consciousness, and there's a part of you that's the Lot's wife state of consciousness. If you will keep pressing on out of your mess, the part of you that looks back and that longs for what was, if you will keep pressing forward, it will fall away, it will calcify, and it will blow away with the sands of time. But you got to keep moving forward. There's no, dilly-dallying, let me go struggle with this. No, don't struggle with it. Don't struggle with it. Just keep pressing towards God, one foot in front of the other. One faith thought after another. So visualization precedes manifestation. This is something that I said a few weeks ago when I was talking about just the power and the importance of visualization. And it was a realization I had, because visualization is an area where, conscious visualization is an area where I have challenges. But the thing is that all action begins with an image in mind. All action begins with an image in mind. Visualization is already happening in your mind. Visualization is already happening in your mind. And so the question is it happening consciously or unconsciously? That's the question. How is the visual? Because it's happening. And if you think about when you go to the store, right? Even if you do not make a list physically, you make a list mentally. And you know kind of generally where stuff is in the store, and you kind of run through the store before you go to the store. When you get dressed in the morning, you mentally scan your closet to get a sense of like what it is that you're going to see. And in the process, you're rejecting and selecting, rejecting and selecting. When you decide to eat breakfast or skip breakfast, same process, rejecting and selecting, rejecting and selecting. And you're running this mental movie through your mind. So it's already happening. The visualization is already happening. You're already running mental movies. The question is, do you have control of the projector? Do you, or is there a movie running on your mind given to you by society, given to you by your parents, given to you by whomever, that is running on your mind, controlling your life, controlling your experience, and you're just at its whim? You can see that right now. This country, we're in the US, there are people that are watching that are not in the US, but in the US, we're experiencing, a good number of us are experiencing election fatigue. We are just tired, like just tired of the mudslinging. It's embarrassing because, hello, we're America. It is, it's just tiring. And so many times I hear people say, I cannot wait till this election is over. I cannot wait till this is over. Like I'm so tired of this. And it's draining. And the thing is that that's somebody handing you a mental movie. That's a mental movie that's been handed to you. And so depending on what side of the equation you're on, you're running worst case scenarios in your mind. If such and such gets in the office, this is what's going to happen. They're going to do, you don't know what's going to happen. Nobody, you can speak the future into being, but nobody can predict the future into being. You don't know what's going to happen. There are people who are, I'm not going to name names, they're supporting one candidate and they say if the other one gets in, we're going to war. There's another one that says that person gets in, they're unstable, they're going to put the world in war. Oh. And another one said, well, that person is inexperienced. If she gets in, it's going to be a hot doggone mess. And the thing is that nobody can predict the future. You literally do not know the future. You cannot judge the future by the past. It may show you trends, but that does not mean that there cannot be a change in the shift or a shift in consciousness. And so there are mental movies that are being handed to us and we're consuming them lock, stock, and barrel. It's coming at us. But then there are others. There are other scenarios that you were given by parents or school teachers or whomever. And so you have this collection, your portfolio, your mental movie portfolio. And the question is, where are you in these pictures? Are you victor or are you victim? Are you winner or are you loser? Because who you play in the movies is who you are in real life. Who you play in the movies in your mind is who you are in real life. So the visualization precedes the manifestation. It influences it. And this is why prayer is so important, because prayer is how you change what's being visualized. Prayer is how you stop the mental movie. Prayer is how you change this is going to be old. Sorry, millennials. This is how you're going to change the cassette in the VCR, right? You remember the VCR? That the way that you change it is that you got to stop, push eject, pull that puppy out. Listen, you don't want to watch it again, so you got to erase the tape. You got to pull that tape out. I'm laughing because in my sermon on Sunday, our two new singers are millennials, and I mentioned getting a busy signal when you dial on the phone, and their eyes were so wide, like, a busy signal. So anyway, so you got to pull the tape out and destroy it, and then you got to get a new tape that's worthy of you and put it in your subconscious mind. And so this process requires prayer. It's the only way you get to do it. That's the only way that it happens in any kind of lasting way. So I want to talk about the, oh wait, I think I have something else. Okay, yeah. So I want to talk about the three types of visualization that she talks about. And she just went somewhere left that I totally didn't expect. And so I thought, let me just highlight these instead of running away from them. The first one that she talks about is visualization with color and light. And what stood out to me, and this is, I'm reading from page 109, she says, you need not always focus on scenes or actions to make effective use of visualization in prayer. You can simply focus on light of different colors. There are two reasons for the effectiveness of visualizing light and color. Number one, light and color are the visual effects of energy vibrating at specific rates. Two, each color has various symbolic meanings that are recorded in race mind and are therefore available to our individual subconscious minds, whether or not we consciously know about color symbolism. Now, I have to be honest, one of the things that I appreciate about New Thought, is that if there's something that you don't get it, you can't demonstrate it, it's like, just put it aside, put it on the shelf. There's no, it's not creedal in that sense where you've got to take it lock, stock, and barrel. So color therapy, color symbology, numerology, astrology, all those ologies, right? They were things that I kind of put on the shelf. It was like, yeah, I can't get with that. So color really kind of fell in that category for me. But she said some things that I really, that resonated with me, that made me say, okay, let's look at this differently. And the first thing she said, and this is on page 109, is that color symbolism must be as ancient as the use of color itself. Anthropologists and archaeologists have identified the symbolic use of color in artifacts of various kinds. Egyptologists recognize many symbolic meanings in the colors used in tomb decorations and paintings. And then she talked about the specific directions that God gives Moses to build the tabernacle. And he gives him the exact colors that he wants to be used for the tent, the loops of the curtain, the veil, the screen. And he gives him blue, purple, and scarlet. And he told Moses to use gold, silver, and bronze for various metallic parts of the sanctuary, and to have cloth made of gold, blue, purple, and scarlet for the priest's garments. And so these colors, what is interesting is that they don't just appear in our Bible, but they also appear in other diverse cultures, unlike ours, that they're using the colors in the same way that the ancient Israelites used the colors. But what really got my attention was that being from in the entertainment industry and taking the design classes that I've taken, it's learning that certain colors communicate certain energy. And so if you look at a bad guy, right, in general, although sometimes you'll go against type like a Lex Luthor, but in general, what you're going to find is that the bad guy is shaped in dark colors, typically black. And the good guy is always going to be in white colors. And she said something I thought was interesting, which is that back in the day, that, during the Middle Ages and the Renaissance in Europe, few people could read, so Christian artists used the symbolism of color to convey the meaning of any scene they depicted in colored glass or paintings. And so the colors are important because they communicate, they tell you what it is, and without words. Color tells you what it is without words. And it isn't just unique to, say, Judeo-Christian culture. You find this across all cultures in terms of the use of color, how it's used, and the meanings assigned to it. And so you can almost kind of group the colors together. And so I chose bright red because of the meaning of bright red, but because the colors symbolize something. They are passing on a message. Ray says, I do know that in dream analysis, colors are considered to be highly significant. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Quintina says, stop looking at what happened in the past and look forward to what you desire. Yes. So the colors are, reading this opened up a new chapter in my mind as far as color, because it was one of those new thought things that I was like, yeah, it just seemed too airy fairy, ethereal, like, yeah, okay, I'll save that, you know. Yeah. Purple means power, light blue means imagination or whatever. But reading her explanation just opened it up in a different way for me. And also my background in film and television. I took a design class in graduate school, but also an undergrad for theater. And so being in those different disciplines, you learn. It was like a costume design class where we were learning how to design costumes for our characters and how to use different colors to communicate what we needed to say about the characters. So there was a way that we were going to make the woman look from Ibsen's A Dollhouse, or Elisha Doolittle. There was a way that we were going to make the bad guy look in, or not bad guy, but, you know, make the characters look in Waiting for Godot. You know, there were just ways that we were going to make them look, and we were going to use color to help us communicate to the audience what it was we wanted them to feel. And color makes you feel. When you're in somewhere that's vibrant, that those colors grab you and they pull you in a certain way, and they compel you to feel certain things. Alita says, New Thought uses color every month. Yes, we do. It's just one of those things that I just dismissed. I really didn't value it. And just being where I am, I guess, spiritually, in my growth, development or whatever, this book, the way she put it, it just opened up a new way for me to see it. And so it opened my mind to color. And so I want to talk about some of the colors that she highlights. And I didn't include all of them on the slide because that just would have made a crowded slide. But if you turn to page 111 and 112, you'll find the list of colors. And she talks about red, that red is life, vitality, force, body, underworld. Now, sometimes the meanings used by the Christian church are specifically identified in her list, and sometimes they're not. So it just depends. So sometimes you'll see a color that might have strong symbolism for the Christian church, and then other times it wouldn't. But for the Christian church, red represents suffering, the death of Jesus Christ and the saints, divine love and blood. Dark red, defined by the church, is warfare, human suffering. Muddy red is just rage. Orange is enthusiasm. So like our color for worshiping in color this Sunday is orange, because we're trying to communicate that enthusiasm, that we're excited. It also means intuition and energy. Yellow means good judgment or wisdom, intelligence, mind, earth. Gold means understanding. Green is order, health, and healing. Spring green means strength. Blue is faith, or the spirit of man. Light blue means imagination. Violet, as defined by the Christian church, represents humility, deep affection, sorrow, spiritual gifts. Purple represents power. This color was reserved for rulers in ancient times because the dye was expensive, and so the color became associated with power. Pink means love, human affection. Russet means purification, presumably from the color of leaves in the fall. Gray means will. White means pure spirit, and black in the Christian church means death, destruction, and ungodliness. And so these colors, you can use this type of color therapy to begin to elicit feeling inside of you. And if you just take a moment and notice how you dress, what colors do you wear? Something I notice is that I have a lot of neutrals in my wardrobe. Like, this is probably one of the only red anything that I have, but I wanted to put on some type of like pop or splash of color, because as you're sitting there, I want you to consider how seeing the color is impacting you. What is it saying to you? And then consider color in your own experience. Everywhere you look, there's an explosion of color. And if you think about the major brands that you consume, the colors they use to communicate their message, anyone who wants to reach an audience strategically uses color. And so if you think about these logos, I happen to pick all red logos. That wasn't intentional. It wasn't strategic. I just picked the first logos I could put my hands on. But McDonald's or Target or Macy's, you know, those logos, they're very bright, they're red, but it's a strategic use of color. And if you go back and you look at what that red represents life and vitality, force, body, all of that's all part of that. And these are brands that I'm sure that they would want you to associate their brand with that. But you can look at the brand for Apple or Neiman Marcus or you name it. And that color communicates something to you. If I said the word IKEA, you can, even if you can't, put yourself in the store, you can see that bright blue and yellow, right? It's unmistakable. And so that this use of color is important. Now, you can begin to do this on your job or in your life, which is to begin to add color into your wardrobe. And it will begin to change or support the change in your frequency or in your vibration. And Andrea says red is a power color. Yes, because powerful women. I was about to say nasty women, but I don't want to be political. Not tonight. So the other thing she gives is using light and visualization. Now this was less, I didn't know this specific drill, but this was more familiar to me, which is using light to move through your body. And you imagine the light entering the top of your head and traveling throughout your body. And then as it exits, you're giving thanks for healing and restoration. I actually use this visualization to when I'm leaving out of the house in the morning, that I literally, like, as I'm back out of the driveway, I begin to speak. The white light of the Christ now surrounds me and now surrounds this car. I have a long distance to travel. I haven't done a lot of driving lately, but now I'm driving every day for 50 some odd miles, both ways. And so I immediately I surround myself in the light. And I thank you that no harm can come to me and no harm can come from me, and just, carry me on my way. Keep me safe, keep Jordan safe, keep everybody on the road safe. It's like I'm seeing this light, and this light protects me. And I cannot tell you how many times that I've had these near misses, and it's like, nope, the light works. The light works. So that's one way that I've used it. But what she suggests is that you sit with, this is on page 114, that you sit with your spine straight or flat, or lie flat on the floor or a bed. And if necessary, do a relaxation exercise. And then you affirm, I thank you, God, for your healing power, which flows through me now as light, renewing and restoring every part of my body. And then you inhale deeply, imagining white light entering through the top of your head and filling your head. Hold your breath, imagining white light traveling throughout your body and all the way to your fingers and toes. And then you exhale, imagining the light radiating from every pore or changing to bluish gray, which according to persons who can see the energy field emitted by and surrounding human beings, is the normal color of the health aura. And then you just repeat those steps using each color of the spectrum in the following order: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, or indigo, violet. And she says, be sure you visualize clear and definite hues. And then you repeat the same steps again using white light again. And when you're done, then you just thank God for renewing and restoring every part of your body. And you sit or lie quietly for a minute or two. And what you are doing is you are part of healing the body is seeing the body healed. But none of us really knows what the body looks like on the inside. I mean, I know we've had cadavers and other things that have been cut open, but you don't really know when you're just, never had surgery, never had anything, right? It's just your imagination, some pictures that you've seen in health class. So you can be inventive in your imagination. And so you can just imagine the light moving through you, and whatever you think a blocked artery looks like, imagine the light smoothing it out and unblocking it. you can see the light. Like I sleep on this side, I sleep on my left side. And so this side is something funny, right? Is working itself out. And so it's just seeing the light come through and heal this area, right? And seeing whatever it feels like, creating a mental picture for myself, and then seeing the light of Christ shift it and adjust it. Whatever you imagine, the mind and the body and the spirit respond on feeling. So if you can produce the feeling that you are being healed in your body, you will be healed in your body. It's the feeling that gets the blessing. It's the feeling that hastens the manifestation. And so you must begin to feel it into expression. And if you can put a little mental picture in your head, perhaps you've got some blockage around your heart or some other place in your body, and you can literally imagine a broom sweeping cobwebs away from that area of your body. And it's the feeling, right? It's not whether or not you got cobwebs around your heart. It's the feeling that supports the clearing in that area. And then when you bring the colors in, the colors represent different aspects of your being, your imagination, your faith, your understanding, your wisdom, your will, your enthusiasm. And as you bring those colors in and move them through your body, imagine moving the color of blue, which represents faith, through your entire body. That means that you are seeing that your faith faculty has been revved up at every area in your being, and you are lit from head to toe. You increase your perceptiveness. Faith is about seeing beyond what is. Well, there's an infinite number of things beyond what is, and we only see according to the level of our faith. So if you rev up your faith, if you increase your sensitivity, nothing shall be impossible to you. Nothing shall be impossible to you. Oh, I love this. Visualization and forgiveness. Now, I've talked about forgiveness before, but I'm just going to take a minute to mention it again, that it is just the most important thing that you can do. It is, energy, any place where you are stuck in your experience, any place where you are stuck in your experience. So just take a moment and imagine, is there any place where you're stuck in your experience? Is there a stuck energy in your money, in your health, in your business, in your dreams, and your aspirations, and what you want to do? And if wherever you find yourself stuck, there you will find some forgiveness that needs to happen. Oh, Andrea says, I have definitely used the visual of sweeping away negativity. Very effective. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That forgiveness, holding on to unforgiving thoughts, can literally kill you. Holding on. See, the thing about disease is that we begin to deal with dis-ease when it manifests in the body. But before it manifests in the body, it's just thoughts coagulating in a particular area. And if you will begin to move the light to keep the atoms moving, right? To keep the atoms moving, you will continue to rise in consciousness and make yourself unavailable for a limited health experience. That, I don't know what that sounds like to you. I know that if I, when I first got into New Thought, it was like, yeah, these people say they can heal all of this. But when you get that your body is the fruit of your mind, and specifically it's the fruit of your interpretation of a God idea, you can't afford negative thoughts. You can't afford anger. And I'm not saying stuff your anger and don't process it. You absolutely have to process your feelings. It's not about not feeling stuff. It's about not processing it. And so instead of feeling it and letting the feeling pass, letting the sensation pass, we do everything we can to fight having the sensation. But I want you to get this. All sensations are the same. Pain, sadness, grief, elation. They all the same. They all pass, meaning good, bad, or indifferent. Sensations pass. And so what you must begin to do is to know and to trust that it'll pass, that I won't feel like this always, and that it won't seem this bad always. And what we do is we catastrophize what we're feeling, and we make it way bigger than it is. When, if you would simply just look at it objectively. Have you ever thought about that? When you are at your saddest, right? If you would just take a moment and just objectively observe yourself being sad. Because generally what happens is that we're sad and we're in the sadness. And what I'm saying is come up a little higher and watch yourself be sad. And get a objective point of view on this. And if you watch it, you will watch the sadness move out of you. What keeps the sadness there is we do. We keep it alive by avoiding feeling it. We keep it alive by avoiding feeling. So yes, we need techniques, right? Because some of these emotions are powerful and will rock your entire world. So absolutely, we need some techniques. There's a great book that I love called Emotional First Aid. Emotional First Aid, great book. And I'd say add it to your reading list because it has some really great stuff, and it helps you to address some of the emotional things that we experience. That he calls them emotional cuts. That if they were dealt with in the beginning, it's like healing a cut on your hand. But generally, we don't get to it until it's like a gushing, festering wound that's gotten infected, and now we need a therapist and some drugs and some other stuff. That you can begin to learn to practice emotional first aid on yourself and begin to release some of this energy. I was watching the Steve Jobs film, which was pretty fascinating. It's on HBO now. And I was thinking about him and the anger that he felt about being adopted, and the sense of being rejected and not being chosen, and how that played out in his experience, how that influenced his character. And I felt like when at the point that, you get to the film and, he gets diagnosed with the pancreatic cancer, it's like, yikes. But I could see that coming with all the vitriol directed at all the folks in your life. The thing about where we've been, what our parents have done, the stuff we've been through, is that no matter what we feel about it, we can't change it. We can't unlive the experience. It's just not available to us to unlive that experience. But what we can do is that we can change how we feel about it. How we feel about it is not fixed. And we can change how we feel about it. And then when we change how we feel about it, it changes our experience with it, takes the charge of it off. And that's what part of this forgiveness is. And so she starts to talk about this 15-minute treatment. And she says that she has affirmations that she has you do. And so you assume a comfortable, relaxed position, sitting or lying down. I'm reading from page 117. And you affirm 3 times aloud or silently, resting quietly a few moments between declarations. God is the life within me. And then you affirm 3 times aloud or silently, resting quietly a few moments between declarations. And now release every recognized or unrecognized feeling of fear, resentment, condemnation, envy, distrust, hate, or any other negative feeling or thought about myself or others, or anything I or they may have said, thought, or done. I forgive myself and others for everything, and I love and bless myself and everyone else. And then affirm 3 times aloud or silently, resting quietly a few moments between declarations. Divine love now dissolves and dissipates every wrong condition in my mind, body, and relationships. And then you visualize in detail and in color the most beautiful, peaceful scene you can. Bring all your senses to play and let the feeling of complete oneness with God and the universe fill your being. Feel yourself melting into the scene. And then you gradually let the feeling become light that is going through your circulatory and nervous systems. See the light flowing into every dark corner. Use white light or a specific color, or simply allow the light to be the color determined by your subconscious mind. If you know the specific body area that needs healing, gradually concentrate the light there and let it remain as long as required. Gradually withdraw from the light as you affirm 3 times aloud or silently, resting quietly a few moments between declarations. God is life. I am one with God. I am one with life. Thank you, God, for perfect life. In the name and through the power of Jesus Christ, the great physician. After the last declaration, say amen. And then you just rest quietly and without conscious thought for at least a minute. Beautiful, beautiful affirmation. Totally different type of forgiveness treatment than what you've done before or what we've talked about before. But it is where you are using the power of affirmation and the power of light to basically unblock yourself. And what I know is that if there's something specific that you need to address, meaning you need to say this person's name, that it will come up to you and you will be able to speak it and speak forgiveness to that person. Sometimes there's stuff that's buried so beneath the surface, you don't even remember what it was. You don't consciously remember what it was, but it's like a trigger in you, and that's easy to be touched. Anybody can touch it anytime, anywhere, any place where you could just go off. And it don't matter see, sometimes it depends on who could send you off. Like strangers can't send me off. People on the road, I had somebody, well, it wasn't directed at me, but they flipped the bird to somebody on the road. Right? That doesn't get me. You're never going to get me that way. I'm never going to fly off the handle. I'm never going to get that mad. All right. But you bring in some of those family members that are not living the way that I think that they should be living. So everybody has that thing that sends them off. It's just a matter of what yours is. And the thing is that there's that place of unforgiveness, because the light in you takes no rise from outward things. What's taking a rise from outward things is the lack of forgiveness, is the thing you haven't forgiven. Once you forgive it, the button is gone. Reverend Mary used to say, they can't find me, meaning that they come looking for your buttons, but you can't find them because I have gotten rid of them. And so as a spiritual practice, you begin to get rid of your buttons. So though someone may come with an attack, because you have removed the button, it's like water off a duck's back. It doesn't even mean anything. It's like, oh, is that the way that you think? All right, cool. Eve says, look at the situation and say, this too shall pass. Yes, 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 yes. Constance says, man, you were in my class tonight. Discover the power within. We talked about that very thing, forgiveness, family members versus strangers. I am so compassionate with strangers. Oh, I am straight up Mother Teresa with some strangers. But with those family members, woo. And I'm not saying I'm not kind, but I'm saying that I have definite opinions about how they should be doing things. This I thought was interesting. So everyone has both masculine and feminine energy, but in our culture, boys are socialized to develop their masculine side and girls are socialized to develop their feminine side. But in truth, you want a balance. And she offers this technique that I really liked. I thought it was just so interesting. And so what it involves is that you pray the Lord's Prayer 6 or 9 times a day for at least 3 weeks. And it balances your energy. But here's how it does it. So you assume a comfortable, relaxed position, sitting or lying down. In whatever way you wish, order your subconscious servant to have each side of your nature pray the Lord's Prayer by itself, and then to have them pray the prayer together. And then you declare that you wish to have an image or a symbol representing the highest development of each nature at the present moment when each prays alone and when the two pray together. And you let the first nature pray silently, your feminine nature, let's say, and observe the image or impression you receive. And then you let the second nature, your masculine nature, pray silently, and you observe the image or impression you receive. And then you let the two natures pray together silently and observe the image or impressions you receive. And then you declare that God now reveals the meaning of what you have observed and rest quietly a few moments. The first images or impressions, they may or may not be human. Some persons receive images of animals, flowers, or other natural objects. Some receive images of man-made things. Some receive no visual impressions during the early sessions, but receive them later. But almost always the images change as the individuals understand their meanings. Those who persist with the exercise become better acquainted with themselves, learn what they need to do to develop aspects of themselves that they may have neglected, become more self-accepting, and better able to express their whole selves. And so this technique is equally effective when used by individuals who are not Christian and who prefer to use a great prayer of their own faith. But regardless of the purpose of using visualization and prayer, its effectiveness probably results from our tendency to believe what we can see, whether with our physical eyes or with the eyes of the mind. If you can mentally see yourself or others enjoying good health or healing, prosperity, or harmonious relationships, or mentally see your masculine and feminine natures developing equally, then you can believe or have faith in the desired outcome of your prayers. So I thought that that was a really interesting way to pray. I'd never heard, certainly never heard of that before. I certainly heard of balancing your chakras, right? Balancing your feminine energy and your masculine energy, your yin and your yang, but I'd never heard of visualization as a type of prayer to do that. And the idea of, you know, let the masculine energy pray and then let the feminine energy pray. And then I'm thinking, what would that even look like? I just thought that was like so interesting. Like, what would that look like? So yeah, anyway, thought it was fascinating. All right, let's time to do something. Did you hear anything that you can put into practice now? Did this lesson expand your understanding of visualization? And then finally, do you have an unusual visualization practice to share? And if you do, leave a comment on the YouTube video for this lesson and let me know your experience. Awesome. Q&A. Q&A, Q&A. Constance says, what? We can't be done. Thank you for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Any questions? I thought these were so interesting. Andrea says, right, Constance, how did that go so quickly? I don't know. It was the red. I brought that power red out. Well, this certainly enhanced what I thought of visualization. I think I would have thought, I don't know, going in a different direction. Here's a question I do have, because we've got a couple more lessons in here, and I've got some stuff from Emmett Fox that I want to give you. In fact, we're going to talk about guidance next week, chapter 10. But I want to know where you want to go next. We've had a really just, I think, a healthy dose of prayer, and I hope this has been helpful. Where would you like to go next? And just some areas where I have a lot of expertise, or I feel like I can teach very well. I can do something on prosperity. We can do something on faith. It's Christmas time. We can do another series on Jesus, maybe looking at the parables. We can take a book. We've never done that before, but we can take a book of the Bible. If there's a particular book that you want to go through, like if you want to, Psalms will take a while because there's a lot of them, but Psalms will take a while. We'd have to select those. But the Proverbs, or we could drill down on Ecclesiastes or Song of Solomon. We could take the Book of Ruth. We could talk about relationships. That will be interesting. And we can maybe study the great relationships in the Bible, friendships as well as marriage and relationships. I don't know. You guys tell me, where do you want to go next? Yvonne says, I love this prayer series. Yay. Yvonne came to LA last week. Last week? No, 2 weeks ago. Gosh, time is running together. 2 weeks ago, and it was such an interesting Sunday. So it was great. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you for coming to hang out. So yes, if you are in the Los Angeles area, we would love for you to visit. We have a very warm and inviting spiritual community. It is just really, really amazing. The what we're doing, and I'm so excited because the team is working right now on the worshiping in color. And people have been coming to the office, folding programs, stamping envelopes, like making phone calls, getting folk there, and it's awesome. It's really awesome. And so I'm really grateful. I think we have the best team, and I know that there are a lot of churches with great teams, but I don't know, I feel like ours is just awesome. Andrea says relationships of all kinds are interesting. Yes, yes, yes. Quintina says faith in the book of Proverbs. Yes. I think I saw another one over here. Ooh. Is that, I don't even know that book, but that sounds good. Constance mentioned a book called Your Life. Why is it the way it is, and what can you do about it? Let There Be Light, Rocco Errico. Let There Be Light would be awesome. Rocco Errico would be a very powerful read. That would be interesting to do, Rocco Errico. Something I'm doing right now, we're getting ready to start a gratitude series at UP, and we're working with Thank and Grow Rich. So it's a play on the Napoleon Hill classic called Thank and Grow Rich, and it is, what I've read so far is powerful. So we could do something on gratitude, because listen, if you want to elevate yourself, gratitude. Gratitude. If you want to keep this vibration that we've gotten into with prayer, gratitude. Gratitude. All right. Well, what I'll do next week, in the next couple of weeks, we will, I'll do a poll, and then I'll run it, and then that way we can see where we are. And I need to write down what y'all said. How do I do that? I don't know. I don't know how to do it. Hold on. The Personal Life by Joseph Benner. Ooh. Oh, print screen. Thank you. Print screen. There you go. Okay. The Personal Life by Joseph Benner. Control V. How'd that do? Okay, perfect. I got that one. All right. And get this one. Print screen. Okay, got it. All right. So I'll do a poll with these. And also mention gratitude. Gratitude. Okay. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for tonight. Oh, you know that one too? Andrea says, I second that on the personal life. Okay. All right. Awesome. I was going to share something. Yvonne said the music is awesome at Up Church. Phyllis, Christ Consciousness. There is a book I have on my shelf called Being a Christ. And that would actually be a really interesting, I'll put that one down, Being a Christ. It's a powerful, powerful book that I think that you would enjoy. Constance says, thank you. Such good energy. Must be that red dress. Yes. Hopefully you guys hold me in the light, because I ordered an orange dress and it's not here yet. And I go out of town tomorrow to speak in Kansas City on Saturday morning, and my dress is not here yet. So I'm just knowing that it's going to arrive and all is going to be well. And if not, I'll be able to get another orange dress. I wanted to say one other thing, because Yvonne mentioned the music. So we have a new song, and the song is called Pray Ocean Deep. So our series was called How to Pray a Deeper Prayer, and the hashtag was Pray Ocean Deep. And so we wrote a song called Pray Ocean Deep, and it's so beautiful. Oh my God, it sounds so good. It was a transcendent experience. So I actually sent the link on Tuesday, but what I'll do, if you're on the MBH Insider list, and you can just go right to RevSherri.com and get on that list. If you're on that list, I'll wait an hour and I'll send you the link for just that song. I'll just upload just that song. Unfortunately, I did not have the mental capacity to videotape it, but it is audio taped. And it's a little, for me, it sounds a little hollow just because of the way it needs to be mixed, basically. So this is just, the church is like a real cavernous room, so sound just kind of dissipates. It's not like a sound studio. Impersonal Life by Joseph Benner. Okay. Oh, I think I know this book, Impersonal Life. I think that one of our teachers at UP taught that. I'll have to ask. I'm pretty sure that Harriet Macaulay taught that book, Impersonal Life. Oh, The Alchemist and Discover the Power Within You. Now listen, Eric Butterworth, that's a bad boy. I only wish that I had the, I just wish I had known who he was when he was alive, because I would have traveled to New York to study with him. I wish I had a different opinion of Ike when he was alive. Now that's a book we could do, although that book is like it's a daily book, but that book is awesome. Which book? Discover the Power Within You, Constance? Yeah, Eric Butterworth is thebomb.com. It is anything you read from him or listen to him. If you go on truthunity.net, you're going to hear a bunch of like old tapes and things of his. I just love the way that his mind works. It's fascinating, some of the stuff that he comes up with, and he just introduces just a new way of thinking. Alita, I think Reverend Ike only has one book, which is Health, Wealth, Success, Prosperity, Love, and something else or whatever. It's like a blue book. I don't think if he does have more than one, I don't know about it, but I have the one. It's a great book, but it's a daily book, meaning that's not what I mean. It's a weekly book, meaning that you study it for 360. You study it for 52 weeks of the year. So there's a lesson for each week of the year. But the book is awesome. It's a really, really awesome book. I mean, maybe we could do it as a private study, because I think that the Bible Hangout, new folks would get bored. It takes a year to get through the book. But it's awesome. It's a really, 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 really good book. And helped me tremendously. All right, I got all the suggestions down. Thank you. If you want to hear the new song from Up Church, go to revsherri.com and click the button to get on the MBH insider list. At maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock my time, I'll send the email out with a link to just that song. I had sent it before, but I messed up the playlist and everything. So just nothing I can do about that. But I'll send the link to just that song. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a great night. I will see you guys next week. Again, chapter 10. And we'll do a poll next week of where we're going to go after this. All right. Bye.